Welcome to the Music Show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
Today we have for you Eva and the Dog Boys. It's a bluegrass group, and I believe we'd say from the Finger Lakes area, upstate New York, and a unique bluegrass group. We've had several, and I think this one is a little bit unique in its own way. Each one had a little different flavor to it, and this one has a decidedly vocal flavor to it. Yeah, it's really four people in the group, and 4 people sing, a lot of harmony. And there is a couple places where they do a little a cappella, and then the instruments come in. They do play around the whole area for different, I think they say they do festivals. They've even done a wedding, I guess. They've done wineries, and I think probably you'll be seeing more of them. I would say
the instrument showcase is going to be on the mandolin.
The mandolin,
player is going to help us with
that. Yeah, and we got a few of us together for that one. We did a little differently than most showcases, instrument showcases. We got about 4 of us together, and we had a lot of input into this mandolin.
And that's unique. That's one of the things we try to do is bring some uniqueness out from each group of people that are here, and this has its own uniqueness about it.
And then, of course, we have Uncle Nick's Corner, as usual.
We'll do something with that.
Right, and the round table will expand a little bit more on their vocal and also on some of the training and teachers that he in camps, teaching camps that he's gone to, and some of the famous people he's met and worked with as far as learning.
The mandolinist.
On the mandolinist.
Well, actually, all of them have been involved in these bluegrass seminar type things. So there's a few days. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of the uniqueness of this area with the bluegrass, how this area tends to...
Don't forget the interview.
Oh, yeah, the interview. So there's so much to see. So stay tuned and enjoy this show. I think you really will. See you in a little bit.
Where I wandered when I was a lad. There I wandered alone to the place I call home, in those Blue Ridge hills far away. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me on the mountain, far away to my Blue Ridge mountain home. Shack in those Blue Ridge hills far away. There my mother and dad are laid there to rest, sleeping in peace together there. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me on the mountain, far away to my Blue Ridge mountain home. I've been longing for days gone by. When I die, won't you bury me on that old mountainside, make my resting place upon a hill so high. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me on the mountain, far away to my Blue Ridge mountain home. Virginia, from those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me on the mountain, far away to my Blue Ridge mountain home, far away to my my Blue Ridge Mountain home.
Everybody to the music show. We have Eva and the Dog Boys, and we're going to do a nice interview with Eva and the Dog Boys. Very good, guys. Stop it.
We can start them, or we just can't stop them.
We do this very often, just come in this way. Well, I'm Ray Braselton, of course, your host, and I guess we'll just let everybody introduce themselves. You want to start with it, T-Bone?
Sure, sure. My name is Tom Farley, mostly known as T-Bone, from Naples, New York. And
what instrument? You play guitar, right?
I play guitar, yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
And then we have...
Hi, I'm Elaine Verstrate. They call me Eva. And
Carefully.
Is there any reason for that?
There's a story behind
Okay,
that.
I thought there might be. We'll get that on the round table.
We'll save
Go
that.
ahead.
I'm from Middlesex, New York, and I obviously played the bass.
Hi, my name's John Denniston, and I play the mandolin.
As if they don't all know who you are anyhow, about the third time on the show.
I'm pretty famous.
Right. And Mike, you too.
Right, yeah, my name's Mike Clunan, and like John, I'm from Palmyra, and I play the banjo.
And like John, you've been on the show a couple times.
That's right, that's right.
And we're so glad to have you on the show, and it is a lot of fun doing it. And I'm glad you're all here to join us today with Eva and the Dog Boys. And I'm blocking you. I have to move out of your way there. So I've got some interview questions for you. I guess to start off, we got your name, instruments, and you're from the upstate area and Finger Lakes area, and right. But I guess one of the things I wanted to ask you was, real quickly, the kind of venues. Can somebody just tell me what kind of venues you would do and would like to do? And
We play festivals, shows inside, stage shows in association with other groups. We play parties, private parties, playing street festivals, etc.
Yeah.
Outside performances,
Played a wedding last year.
play weddings.
Wineries, we like wineries a lot. Wineries are good.
So if there's any wineries out
there
there,
you go. Those are perfect for bluegrass.
They are great, yeah.
You know, the bluegrass music, and I wrote down a couple things here. Well, I guess I was going to ask you, how did you run into each other? I mean, I'm certainly, you've all been in other groups, but how did you find each other? Car accident, or?
Bowen, myself, and Elaine played in a band with a singer-songwriter named Lisa Bigwood. Played with her for a year and a half or so, and just decided we wanted to play a little more bluegrass-oriented music rather than what Lisa was playing, and we replaced Lisa with this guy here with that funny-looking instrument, and we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Playing what we like. And
Well, you do real good music, and we've had the opportunity to listen to it and enjoy it so far. Got more to go here, but you also do a little bit more, maybe too, than just bluegrass. I think.
Yeah.
Although bluegrass, you seem to be
when
predominant.
we got together, we got together. One of the fundamental parts of it was we wanted to sing, concentrate on vocals, and we also didn't want to be limited to, songs or repertoire just bluegrass. Everybody has different tastes here, clearly different tastes, so we try to bring as many new songs as we can into it.
That's good. It's good to know that, because, I enjoy bluegrass, but sometimes you want to be a little bit
Really?
versatile in your music. And well, could you give me an idea of other kind of music you can do?
Well, we do a song that's kind of swing-ish. We do something that's kind of Americana called Orphan Girl. Where Elaine and I sing.
Right.
That's not really bluegrass, but it's with bluegrass instruments
Okay.
with that swing to it.
Okay, very good.
We do a kind of a blend of contemporary and traditional bluegrass, which tends, just that in itself can vary
material.
quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a new trend in music with Americana music now. It's not necessarily a banjo, it's not a
Right.
fiddle.
No.
It's music more based upon the subject matter. So that we're trying to get into that field too.
That's good. That's good. So the repertoire is a little mixed. You can do it. Now, the kind of music that you're into, this, which is mainly bluegrass, how does somebody in this era of the 20th century, or 20, what are we in 20th?
21st.
Sorry, guys.
Last time I
We are. We think you are too.
I have it. Yeah, I have to. 21st century.
That's why we keep those watches.
what time is it, Mike?
But how in the 21st century, how do people get into this? I mean, what? I really never got. I'm still in the classic rock and country, you know. But how do you get into that? It's great music. But it's like you're something when I listen to you, like I'm watching some movie or something. With Paul and Ma
I can answer
Kettle,
that actually
you know?
because I'm the newest
Good
member
example.
of the bluegrass community, at least in this room, except for maybe you by the sound. But it really comes by playing it and being around it and being exposed to it.
It grows on you.
It does grow on you.
I guess.
It's a social music is
Yeah.
what is so great about it, that it's if you're
yeah.
bluegrass, you play it, you know, and you get together, you go to festivals, you get to a festival on Thursday, you bring the instruments out and put them away on Sunday, and then
Yeah, exactly.
and
The audiences at these bluegrass festivals are people who play the music.
There you go.
Most of them
Yeah.
are, you know, one way or the other.
Well, again, I'm not that much into it, but I've had plenty of you on my show, and if I didn't enjoy you, I wouldn't have you on my show. So I do enjoy it,
Nice both ways.
and I know my audience does. So, the biggest thing I wanted to ask you was like musical influences in the bluegrass. Who is your biggest influence? You can each answer individually if you'd like. You have
So
an
many.
influence.
I'd have to say Tony Rice, maybe Doc Watson,
Doc Watson.
Norman Blake. Guitar players is who I listen to.
You do play a little mandolin though too, don't you?
A little bit,
A little bit.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
How about you?
I'm tempted to say these guys are my biggest influence. They pretty much are, but I'm probably more influenced at this point by vocalists because that's my biggest attraction to the music for myself as far as my contribution. So Gillian Welch is probably a big one for me.
You do play a very nice bass. I want you to compliment you for that because
She does.
I mean, what do you do without her? She's got to be there. She just adds so much to. I guess do all bluegrass groups have basses? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Most do.
Also, Elaine works everybody works pretty hard. You go a week off and they come back and they know most of the songs that I haven't been practicing.
That's pretty good.
It's a lot of hard work.
Pretty good, Elaine. John, how about you?
My influences primarily Bill Monroe, and then other more contemporary mandolin players, Herschel Sizemore, Alan Bybee, David Grisman, Sam Bush.
Yeah, you know, you and I want to talk a little bit. We have the showcase going to be coming up, and we're going to have John, and well, probably a few of us are going to hang in there and talk a little bit about the mandolin and some of the influences that you may have had of mandolin players. So we're getting that. How about you, Mike? As far as
I'm the traditionalist in the group. More bluegrass oriented, the old historic groups. But gee, I hear new material all the time. Songs on the radio. We'll talk about some song we heard on the local, top 40 and say, that would work. We could do that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. So
that's great. Well, I want to thank you for what you've done so far. We got more to go. I do want to know if you could somebody could give us maybe your email, your website. You got a new website, I understand?
Yeah.
Could you give us that information? Maybe phone contact if you have
Sure. It's, as you would imagine, it's evaandthedogboys.com, but that's with spelled out A-N-D. And that's our new website, and we're just building it, so we can refer to that. And on the website, you'll find that you'll have a phone number on there for contacts for jobs, and that's 585-208-2626. And then also on the website, you'll see an email address, and you can refer to the website on that for contacting us.
Okay.
And we use it as well.
Okay. Well, we'll have it here on the screen right in front of us too,
great,
so we'll have it there. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the interview, and we're coming right back to you guys. You got to get back to work here, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we'll
Thanks,
be right with you.
Thank you, Ray.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hard-hearted, heartbreaker, dream-stealing, love faker. Hard-hearted, heartbreaker, how many hearts have you broken today? How many hearts have you broken today? How many tears have been shed over you? How many dreams have you caused to go wrong? All because your heart
and welcome to Uncle Nick's Corner. This is another segment in the continuing series of guitar instructional type things. Today, I think I'd like to go back to some basic ideas. A lot of times we get focused where we are and the advanced place that we are. Sometimes it's good to go back and review some of the ideas that we would use when we first start playing. One thing is hand positioning. Now, I'm sitting here fairly comfortable. I'm on a higher stool, but the ideas that we're going to talk about now are applicable no matter how you sit. First of all, you'd like the neck elevated, and notice I'm using a strap in order to keep the guitar steady at the angle that is best for the hand positioning that we need to get. Our thumb needs to be placed behind the neck. Now, a lot of people play with their thumbs over here, and what that does is it seriously cuts down your mobility. Now, if you're playing an electric guitar and you're playing a thin neck guitar, maybe that doesn't come into, it's not as important as if you're playing an acoustic or a wide neck. And sometimes also, when you're playing rock styles, if you're going to do a bend, you need to get your thumb there. So we're not talking about that when you're doing a bend and getting your thumb there to oppose the bend that you're doing. What we're talking about is normal playing. And basically, when you go to get a chord, we're almost forced into that good positioning. Another thing that's important is the arcing of the fingers. We need to arc your fingers so they kind of come over the top, and using just the tips of your fingers to fret the notes. Notice how everything is nice and clear, as opposed to if I was like this, it just wouldn't work. So that's an important thing to begin with, to keep your thumb behind the neck, and I position mine just behind the first fret. And again, that natural form that comes up with your wrist and knuckles somewhat parallel to the fingerboard. Using that kind of a position, you never get into trouble. Of course, sometimes we would, if we need a bar, things change a little bit. This finger has to flatten out. But essentially, that arc is what we need. Another thing is, as far as scale work is concerned, and visualizing the fingerboard. We start out a lot of times in the first books playing the first string, going to the second string, then to the third string, etc. But what we lack there sometimes is a vision of direction. If we started on the second string, first fret, the note that we have there is the C. If we go from that C, if we go up a whole step, we have D. If we go down a half step, we have B. Notice that the focal point or the tone center of that is C. Now, going from that perspective, as we go up the fingerboard to the D from the C, the next note is E. That's that first string open. So now listen to the scale starting to be developed. And I'm moving my hand away here so you can see that I'm playing an open string, but normally your hand would stay in position. It's another thing too, as we're going through this, things are going through my head. One of the things that you want to be able to develop too is holding fingers down where you can. So that way there's an economy of movement. If I'm playing the C going to the D, back to the C, I would keep that first finger there. So continuing C, D, E, F, G. Now you hear the C scale. And quickly going back down the other way, C, B, to the next string down to get the A, G, F, E on the next string down, D, and C. So there we have the C scale. I think it's really good to get a feel for and an ear for that sort of thing. Continuing down from this C, B, A, G, F, E, E, F, G, A, B, C. Notice again, our tone center is C. When we first learn the guitar, most instruments, when we first learn, we learn natural notes first and then get into the sharps and flats. But this is, we necessarily want to try to stay with those tone centers. When you're finally seeing this and conceiving of this, we would see a C, D, E, F, G, C, da, 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 da. So we see right in the middle parts of the fingerboard, we have C to C. We extend up to the G as the highest note that we have, and the E as the lowest note that we have. I think that that's an important thing to visualize on the guitar, because when we do go up into the upper positions, we see the same type of concept. So I hope you get something from this. If you have any questions or any kind of comment or any particular subject that you want to be covered on these Uncle Nick's Corners, I would be happy to tenor any kind of a question. Just get in touch with us. But until next time, we'll be seeing you. Keep playing.
So bad seed, if bad seed is all you've been sowing, no darn good is all you'll be growing. I'll tell you what my daddy told me, you can't harvest any good when you sow bad seed. Some people think they can have their fun, they're always looking out for number one and never pay for the wrongs they do. Well, bad seed always catches up with you. If bad seed is all you've been sowing, no darn good is all you'll be growing. I'll tell you what my daddy told me, you can't harvest any good when you sow bad seed. Some people think they can turn you around, they'll stand you up just to knock you down, clean you out when your back is turned. Well, bad seed never seems to learn. If bad seed is all you've been sowing, no darn good is all you'll be growing. I'll tell you what my daddy told me, you can't harvest any good when you sow bad seed. You can't harvest any good when you sow bad seed.
Welcome everybody to the instrumental showcase portion of our music show. And I'm Ray.
Instrumental showcase.
Very instrumental showcase. I'm Ray Braselton.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
Well, we have for you an interesting instrumental showcase, and of course you've all met, I believe already, John and T-Bone and Mike, and we're going to kind of just Nick and I always got together and just talk a little bit about this very interesting instrument. And you've been on the show a couple times and played it for us, and we've had others play it. And it is a unique sound to me. It's different. It has 8 strings compared to a ukulele has 4, a guitar has 6. And you want to tell us a little bit of how it's strung, you know, how the strings work on that?
Yeah, a mandolin is tuned just like a violin. It's pairs of, goes G, D, A, E from bottom, actually top but bottom because the strings are thicker. So typically a violin player can play mandolin and a mandolin player can play violin. I'm the exception. I can't play either very well, but that's it in terms of the notes and what it is. This instrument is a Collings, built in Texas. Built in 2009. It's a red Adirondack spruce top. It's a one-piece.
Yeah, well, to really show them.
Is that a one-piece back?
It is.
It is. That's unique. That's different.
Yeah, it's a one-piece maple back with quilted maple, and the binding is tortoise, faw tortoise. And
the top and the back are similar to violin in that they're carved.
correct. Right. The top and the back are carved. The difference with a mandolin and a violin is that there's no sound post running from the top to the back. With a violin, there is.
There's just two, I think, 2 bars.
There's tone bars.
Tone bars.
Exactly.
Right, 2 of them. Okay.
Yep. And the way they're carved and the way the top and the back are carved really makes a difference on the sound.
And this, by the way, is a high end.
It's
Relatively high end.
It's relatively high end.
You don't get more relatively higher ender,
Yeah,
right?
it's a nice instrument. I just got it about 2 months ago.
What's the name of it?
It's a Collings is the manufacturer. They're primarily known for guitars.
Right.
And they've gone into mandolins.
They do
about
flat tops and arch
They
tops,
do, yep.
too.
Yep. A friend of mine's got a real nice Collings flat top that really barks.
Now, the mandolin, there's different types of built differently mandolins, right? For different types of genres? Or
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
This one is designed, really, you can play whatever you want, but it's more of a bluegrass mandolin. It's loud. The highs are loud, the lows are funky, I guess is the best way to describe it. Other mandolins for different genres, maybe jazz or swing would have more of a 2-point with maybe a round sound hole rather than the F holes.
What do you mean 2-point?
Well, this mandolin has the 1 point here with a scroll here.
Right.
And a 2-point mandolin would not have a scroll, would just have the 2 points,
yeah.
a point and a point, and then down below a third
Some
point.
of them are just even without the points. The A style makes
Right,
an A style.
right. The A styles, they
And they-
typically have round holes.
They have the round hole. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of
Even
F
though
holes
the
as well.
tops are carved. Yeah.
Yep,
And this is F hole. You can see the F shape. Is this what they mean by F hole?
correct, just like a violin.
Yes,
And like
right.
like an archtop guitar.
Right.
Same thing.
And this is more similar to an F style Gibson,
This is a
like an
a
F5.
version of an F style.
Yeah, it's similar to that.
It's very similar to that.
Right.
Yeah, built very much the same way.
Right.
Yep, yep.
And all the woods in that are high quality. I think the fingerboard, I was looking. I think
Fingerboard
it's
is ebony. It is
Right,
ebony.
right.
The pick guard's also ebony.
An ebony.
Yeah.
We learned recently that the woods, even on the fingerboard or even the headstock on guitars, can make a difference in the
Absolutely,
sound.
absolutely. Yep. I've played many mandolins over the years in my quest for finding the right sound, and this for the moment this has what I'm looking for.
And this is relatively new, so it's going to change.
It's going to do what they call open up.
Open up,
It's
right,
going to get
right.
better and louder and deeper
Right.
and.
I was just reading in a magazine, as an aside, they have a device now because the theory is that if you have a new instrument, you want to keep the wood vibrating. And in the old days, some people would put their guitars next to a speaker that would be constantly playing. There is a device now that you put over the strings. I think it's for mandolin also, but especially for guitar, that keeps the top vibrating.
seen those.
when you-
Wow.
Yeah.
I forget what the name of it is, but it's something that just came out, which is.
So instead of taking 10 years to mature, I only take a year.
That's
so.
the theory. Yeah,
That's the theory,
That's the
yeah.
theory.
And of course, maturing is part of the process too. You know, the people would say, "Well, why does the Stradivarius sound like a Stradivarius?" Because it's 300-400 years old, and there's that part of that.
They were
you
pretty good
can't-
to begin with, though.
Right, right. Well, no, they had to be, but the issue is, as they age and mature, they take on a nice sound. So this will only start to sound better as you play it.
That's my hope.
Now, the different mandolins for different genres. Is there any particular style than you'd say for a particular type of music? This would probably be a style for a bluegrass. With the shape of it, I'm talking about.
Well, the shape and the sound
is more.
It's more oriented to bluegrass. I mean, bluegrass music has what they call a chop. I mean, I'm the percussion of the bluegrass band.
Right.
I'm doing an offbeat chop as a drummer would, and this has the sound to give me that nice chop that people are looking for in this genre.
Where something like say a big band, did they ever use mandolins in big bands?
Tenor banjos.
Tenor banjos, they did a lot.
Pre-guitar.
Yeah.
And that was to get the
snare drum
sound out.
Right.
But not
They had
mandolin.
mandolin orchestras back when too.
Well, that around the turn of the century,
They weren't
had
loud enough for
mandolin
the big
orchestras.
bands with the brass, so that's why they used the tenor banjos.
Right.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
the mandolin orchestras had the mandolin, the mandola, the
Mandocello,
mandocello, and a
yep.
mando bass.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think recently I saw a mando bass down at Bernunzio's. I
Yep.
think he has
Really?
a mando bass down
Those are
there.
neat.
Yeah.
Now you've been taught and gone for camps by some pretty influential people that played mandolin and
Sure.
recorded probably with mandolin. Could you tell me about you were trained by or you took a lesson or two or something from somebody?
I've had lessons from various really great mandolin players over the years. I've been fortunate enough to go to several camps with T-Bone and with Mike at different settings. The ones we've gone to, typically it'll be a college setting where you stay in a dorm room and you have classes in the morning, lunch, and then you have classes in the afternoon, and then you jam with your friends, all night. And then
Is this just mandolin you're talking
No,
about?
this is these camps are the ones I'm referring to are guitar, mandolin, banjo,
All in one
bass,
camp.
all in one. Yeah, but the classes are separate.
Okay.
You go in and you learn from various people. I've been fortunate enough to learn from Herschel Sizemore, great traditional player, Alan Bybee, Butch Baldessari, who's since passed away. Just many really good players that have helped me, come up with my sound.
There was a story that I think John brought up to us that we should about Jethro and what an expert, Jethro and
Burns.
Homer and Jeff.
Homer and Jethro, and they were a comedy team actually. But he played even though probably a lot of people didn't quite realize it, but he was a magnificent mandolin player.
He was. Jethro played a swing jazz style, very improvisational, and just all over the fretboard. Just an amazing player. And one of his proteges was named Don Sternberg, who was a contemporary player now.
He played with him.
He played with him. He started as a teenager, played guitar, and then went to mandolin. And I was fortunate enough to sit in with Don Sternberg. I think he was down in Tennessee.
Maryville.
Yeah,
Maryville.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to make him have a big head or anything, but I remember hearing somebody say a couple, 3 years ago that John was one of the best mandolin players in the area.
I wouldn't go there.
I think it was John that said that. No, I did that.
You're right about-
and now,
you're right about
after
that.
having him
He is.
on, I think the third show, he doesn't realize it, but he's been on here, I think, 3 times. I now understand that. I wouldn't have agreed with that before, but just because I know John. But
We go way back.
we go back. I was his daughter's teacher for a while.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, you were.
but I want to thank you, John, for bringing this information to us. You offered to do the instrument showcase for us today, and I thought this would be nice to have all of us in on it, and I think it worked out real good. So we hope you enjoyed the mandolin instrument showcase today, and we thank you for joining us. And
Get back to some music.
Get back
right?
to some music. I'll see you in a bit.
I read about a man one day wasting not his time away.
He prayed to God every morning, noon and night.
He cared not for the things of hell, trusted one who never fails. Daniel prayed.
Oh, Daniel prayed every morning, noon and night. cared not for the kids of Cree, trusted God to set him free.
Oh, Daniel prayed.
Oh, Daniel prayed every morning, noon and night.
Oh, brother, let us watch him pray like Daniel did from day to day.
He prayed to God. He prayed to God every morning, noon and night.
You can let and dare and do pray to God, he'll see us through. Daniel prayed.
Oh, Daniel prayed every morning, noon and night. Oh, Daniel sang this living God while upon the earth he trod.
He prayed to God.
He prayed to God every morning, noon and night. He cared not for the kids of Cree, trusted God to set him free.
Oh, Daniel prayed.
Oh, Daniel prayed every morning, noon and night. Oh, Daniel sang this living God while upon the earth he trod.
He prayed to God.
He prayed to God every morning, noon and night. He cared not for the kids of Cree, trusted God to set him free.
Oh, Daniel prayed.
Oh, Daniel prayed every morning, noon and night. Oh, Daniel sang this living God while upon the earth he trod.
He prayed to God.
He prayed to God every morning, noon and night. He cared not for the kids of Cree, trusted God to set him free.
Oh, Daniel prayed.
Oh, Daniel prayed every morning, noon and night.
Welcome, everybody, to the music show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Green, the co-host.
And we're glad to have you with us today with Eva and the Dog Boys. And they've done a very marvelous job of entertaining us tonight, and I thought this would be a great opportunity during the roundtable to learn more about them, which we're going to do right now. But meanwhile, I think we ought to do a quick introduction. You want to start with yourself, Mike?
My name is Mike Clunan, and I play the banjo in a group, and I'm from Palmyra, New York.
My name's John Denniston, and I play the mandolin. I'm from Palmyra also.
I'm Elaine Verstraete, and I play the bass, and I'm from Middlesex, New York.
T-Bone Farley, I play guitar, and I'm from Naples, New York.
And we're glad to have you. And I guess we've got a lot involved here, and so little time to actually discuss it. But we're all been in groups before, I'm sure, with bluegrass groups before, and I imagine did I catch on how you guys kind of met each other, how that happened?
Well, I've known Mike for years from going to different bluegrass festivals and jamming with him, and then I met T-Bone not too long after that, same way. And then I met Elaine when she started playing with T-Bone and I in another band about 3 years ago.
What made you decide to get together as a group?
I think we respected each other's abilities and we liked what we were doing.
And the music. The music put us together also.
Well, one thing we're going to get into is the vocal parts of your music. It seems to me there seems to be an appreciation for vocal in this group, maybe even more so than a lot of other bluegrass groups. And wanted to touch on that. I know that a lot of bluegrass groups are instrumental and do unbelievable things, as you guys do. Sometimes a little bit shy on the vocal, where you guys actually throw in a little a cappella here and there, and then come in with the instrumental and everything. Is this something that you want to do more of, or expand on, or?
The feedback we get from many of our audiences is they recognize and appreciate the vocals. They recognize a song, and people who recognize songs enjoy the music in general. So we started vocalizing more and more. And that's really what we just started. We were talking about that a few minutes ago. We like to vocalize. We think the audience likes our vocalizing. It's a good match.
Yeah, right.
We normally mix it up, maybe in a set, like a 45-minute set, it might be maybe 80% vocals and 20%.
You usually do like 2 instrumentals a set, at the most, I think.
We love the
Unless we get rowdy.
Yeah, well, you enjoy it.
rowdy crowd.
Singing. Yeah, and actually, I'm in a group, not bluegrass, but I'm in a group. And
Well, you can only hope.
We can take care of
We
it.
can only hope, right? But we all 4 sing, and believe it or not, I wouldn't say all of us are necessarily great at the, but we all are good at what a particular song, and we back up the others, and we sound good.
And you get better.
So we
Exactly right. That's the same situation here. Is that we all can deliver a song, and because we all can vocalize, it gives us a lot of different opportunities to sing different parts, to sing tenors, to sing baritones. So we can switch it up a lot, and in the course of a set, we can sound really different from one song to the other, and that keeps it interesting, not only for us, but I think for our audience. And really,
Yeah, I don't think any one of us are real stellar front.
now you
Let me
tell me.
finish. I don't think any of us are real
Find yourself
stellar,
another banjo.
stellar singers that can go out and really lead a band as a great great vocalist. But combined, I think we get the job done pretty well.
Well, I think what I found as an audience member my whole life was looking to be entertained, and I think a lot of times when a band has a particular sound, you can hear 3 or 4, or maybe even a full set, and then you feel like you've pretty much heard their statement.
Yeah.
And maybe that's true with us too, but I think the variety that we offer, because each person can lead a song, creates interest, I think, that can hang in.
It's a very interesting group, and I know that you do a lot of nice instrumental too, but it makes it more interesting. Oh, let's move on to another subject. You've, I guess you played at, have you played at any venues that are interesting that you'd want to tell us about?
We played a couple weeks ago at Geneva at the Smith Opera House, and a preliminary.
That's right, I saw that.
It was a preliminary act for the Boxcars, a national group in Newfound Road, and we really enjoyed it. It was a big bluegrass show, and we opened for that. That was a lot of fun.
Unfortunately, there was a blizzard that night.
I remember. I remember that.
Major blizzard.
Oh boy.
What's so unusual about that?
Was it a big
Nothing was unusual about it. It was unfortunate.
Did you still have a fairly good turnout? Or?
Yeah, they made money. So
well, that's important.
Is that not the key?
It is. Well, Nick, did you have some more questions on the line of the bluegrass group? I know that.
No, we were talking earlier just mainly about the issue that we were talking about, the vocals.
Right.
Yeah.
I read an article, somebody was being interviewed. It was a jazz player who was talking about reiterating the melody, and he made a statement: nobody goes around humming the chord changes. How important the melody is in bringing out the melody in a melody line in a particular song.
Some players will just tear it up with improvisation, but they won't play the melody.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, the
so
bluegrass.
from this standpoint, the vocals kind of do that for you. It brings that out more.
Well, bluegrass also is kind of a folk type musicians, and so therefore telling a story, I would think, would mean a lot.
Yeah, many of the songs are very story oriented, certainly.
Yeah. Now I know you played different venues. In fact, I think you said you played even a wedding not too long ago. But what are again some of the venues you do?
We've played wineries throughout the Finger Lakes. We've played private parties. We played benefits. We played quite a few benefits for different various causes.
Golf courses.
Golf course. Yeah.
My wife owns a store in Naples that sells handmade crafts, and she has a summer concert series in the summer. It's called Artisans.
Yeah, you got to mention that. Definitely, you got to tell us.
It's Artisans, and we play. She has artists and musicians on the porch all summer, so we play there once or twice a summer. And,
again, the one thing you mentioned to me was that we should talk about was the richness of this area for bluegrass.
It's a great example right there.
Yeah, and that was a good example, and it is more so in this area than probably. I would say we've got more bluegrass in this area than a lot of counties or a lot of.
And a lot of them
states.
can read music too. A lot of them are trained musicians, as a result of Eastman.
Harrison, thought.
Oh, music.
I've heard.
not enough to hurt their playing, but they can read music.
That's a good point.
Right.
I give them a lot of material to work on.
Yeah, Pete Seeger's quote on the back of his original.
Red book.
Yeah, remember what
I've got
was it? The old banjo player was asked, "Could you read notes?" He says, "Heck, there ain't no notes on a banjo."
Or not enough to hurt my playing.
Right.
But what is it about? Because again, I was bringing up earlier. What is it about this music that attracts people in this area? Can you tell me what it is, John? Because they really do like
my
it,
wife
I'd
could
say.
probably, she's kind of a bluegrass widow, rather than a football widow or a golf widow or what have you. I mean, it really becomes an obsession, especially if you play the music and you're trying to get better at it and have fun performing it. It's very
I know
addictive.
on your part, but I'm saying what brings the audience?
Isn't there like a social aspect?
A social
to it
network for
that
sure.
brings people together?
There's a festival in New York State in July in the Albany area, and they have 10, 11,000 people there every year. And I bet more than half of them are players. They play instruments, and they go there to see professional acts
all night long.
all night long. You're there. You come. It takes 3 or 4 days to dry out from these festivals. I mean, you've been up all night
Well,
playing.
maybe you.
That's what I heard.
Well, most of the people that come to these festivals are musicians, as we've already said, and those that aren't are just really into music, and I think it's an accessible type of music, like we said, because of the lyrics and because of the great musicianship. It's really got both.
I come from California, and for some reason I just can't imagine being in LA today. And all these, but who knows today? Maybe it's changed in the past 40
One of the
years,
biggest festivals in the country is in San Francisco.
Well, that's not LA though.
True.
But there's a lot of
Topanga Canyon.
acoustic music and bluegrass music that does come out of LA.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole
Colorado.
contingency there.
Colorado.
But that's the whole country's like that anymore. It's we're talking about the newer generation. Some of the best pickers in the world are kids these days. Some of the new people coming up are wonderful musicians. So.
And that's a great thing about the music is the tradition. And you go to festivals, it's very family oriented. There's kids everywhere, and they're playing music, and
They're learning.
They get brought up on it, and you have little 7-year-old kids running around picking the snot out of the mandolin, and it's just it's really a lot of
with
fun.
the internet and everything and all the things that are available. One thing that I've noticed is that there's more literature, there's more access to learning.
Right.
Sure there is.
It's
You can
easier
go
to
on
jump on.
YouTube and learn something.
Yeah, like we were just saying, Pete Seeger, the Pete Seeger book was one of the first 5-string banjo books.
It's the only book for
And
years.
before that, there wasn't anything else, and until some of the others, like Peter Wernick and some of the other guys came out, the Scruggs book came out.
There you go.
So from the printed standpoint and teaching the music, that was one thing that brought it in. And again, almost every music form is benefited by things like YouTube and the internet.
Amazing. Absolutely.
And the demonstrations that you can they show you so much on those videos and so much they write it out. I mean, it's amazing that people have time to do that for nothing, But they do it, and it's great. And kids, my students are picking it off the internet and coming to me and say, "Can you show me?" I do have to help them. Sometimes they don't get it as precise as they should.
When they come with a rock tune I never heard before, I said, "Well, you'll have to show this to me."
You're going to be, I know there's great organizations. You just talked about organizations, but we wrote down a few things. The FLBA is is that a new?
You're kind of proud of a gentleman by the name of Peter McDonald, a real good friend of the band's, gentleman who's a wonderful musician, has taken it upon himself.
Is that
And
he's the
he's a
same
wonderful
Peter
musician.
McDonald?
And anyway, he's been responsible for putting together the Finger Lakes Bluegrass Association. We meet once a month in Geneva in the Smith Opera House upstairs, and we're trying to encourage new people, just what we're talking about, trying to train new people to get into the business of making music.
Well, Peter's been on our show with his daughter and everything too, and also his brother has a Dixieland group, which was good. And he's been on the show too.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
But now you also have they have a website that you can go to. I don't know if you know it.
FingerLakesBluegrass.com.
Okay.
Yep.
If you're interested, and then you have a new website. You want to?
EvenTheDogBoys.com. I guess that's the way we just started. We're trying to populate it right now, and it has a lot of information about where we're playing and some pictures, and we're going to try to build it up in the future.
Well, that'll be on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
So you'll see it on. If you need to get a hold of you, you can get a hold of you on the website and get more information on there.
And there's a lot of activity around right now. There's a show at the end of the month in the Sodas area where the Grascals playing. There's a lot of professional acts. You get a chance to network with people when you go to these shows. You see a lot of people that you haven't seen and you can play with and set up. So.
Well, that's what we need to get, was to let people out there know that we do have a lot of networking going around here in this area.
It's important.
And to get involved with these groups. I guess there's some mountaintop bluegrass festival coming up. What's that every year?
Yep. It's
second weekend in August.
Sponsored by the Southern Tier Bluegrass Association. And it's the second weekend in August, and it's in Canisteo, New York. It's the Mountaintop Bluegrass Festival. We're performing at it, along with a lot of other groups, mostly regional groups. But it's a great place, great opportunity to camp out. It's a really good
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Brantling does something every year too.
Brantling has a festival in August too. Is the week before that, and Mike Garlock is responsible for putting that together. He's done a lot of work on it, and that's the Brantling Bluegrass Festival in Brantling Ski Center.
And I'm just saying, if we covered everything, I think we have. I really, you're quite an inspiration to me. Because I'm growing to appreciate bluegrass a lot more.
Good.
Especially since I've had probably more bluegrass than I've had country on this show, I think.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of bluegrass groups on this show. And
we're more talented than the country.
I think.
I thought before I said that I wanted to generate.
Should I say that? I'm in the country
What did you
group.
think about?
But that's okay. It's okay.
Think about
But we really.
Everybody should have a banjo player.
Exactly. We have a banjo player in our country.
They might. Yeah.
But we'll have to look forward to seeing you guys perform somewhere. I haven't gotten a chance to actually see you perform as a group.
Yep.
I heard a lot about you. And so I wanted to get you in.
Good, I hope.
John's been, and you've been on my show before. John's been on the show, and I knew that this would be great.
Well,
and we appreciate and we thank them, right, Nick?
Yes.
Thank
Thanks very much for having us.
Thank you.
on
Thanks
the
for the
show.
opportunity.
Great being here.
Thank you. It's been fun.
It always is, isn't
It's
it?
always fun.
John, thank you again.
Thank you so
Really
much.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Really nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Rick.
Hope to see you guys
Hey,
again.
nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Nick. We've done this before. This is great.
It's great, right?
Nick, Uncle Nick. Everybody, we'll see you at the next show, the music show.
Can't take my brother, he don't like the North Country at all. Can't take my sister if there's no mirrors on the wall. Can't take a book to read, cause I'm only thinking of that land where I am bound. I think I'll go up to Alaska where the heat of that summer's coming down. I got a suitcase made of alligator skin. Hope that it makes it through whatever situation I get in. Boots made of leather, my coat's for the weather, and you won't find me hanging round. I think I'll go up to Alaska where the heat of that summer's coming down. I think I'll go up to Alaska where the heat of that summer's coming down.